Do you want to wake up feeling like you're stepping into who you're meant to be, into the best possible version of you? What if I told you that the key to your best life, health, and happiness are all around you? You just have to find what works for you. I'm Hopeful, and I believe that there isn't just one way to live a healthy and meaningful life, and that all you need is a little inspiration to make changes that last from the inside out. Each week, I'll be sharing tangible tips and inspirational interviews to help you on your journey. These are the steps to take to improve your life and live with purpose. This is Hopeful and Wholesome. Hi, friends, and welcome back to Hopeful and Wholesome and another episode, actually our last episode in our series, Aligned and Refined for 2025. And my voice is barely hanging on, but we made it through, and we're finishing up this episode, or this series rather, with an episode that is to help you be able to create a life that you love. And, so far we've covered so many aspects of your well-being, your mindset, and this just kind of sums it all up, and just really being able to align your values and your actions for the new year. And as we step into this new year in 2025, a lot of us are reflecting on what truly matters and really envisioning a life that feels fulfilling and purposeful and aligned, right? The name of this series. But creating a life you love doesn't happen by chance. And that's what I want to bring to you in this episode. It's about intentionally aligning your values, your passions, and your actions, the actions that you take daily with the vision that you have for yourself. Your life doesn't happen by accident. And I think a lot of times we can get into that rut where we can play victim, or we just kind of settle or become complacent and thinking like, this kind of just all happened by chance, but that's not how it happens. And we can have more episodes on this. And, whether you want to call it, the law of attraction or manifestation or whatever you want to call it, the fact is that we are responsible for intentionally creating the life that we want. And our life doesn't happen by chance, right? We make decisions that lead to this, that lead to that, and then this happened, and then this happened, right? So in this episode, I want to dive into how to identify your core values and passions. And I want to talk about some simple strategies to align your daily actions with your bigger life goals. And then I want to give you some tips for creating long-term fulfillment, joy, alignment, and really be able to make 2025 the year that you, maybe if you've never been intentional about creating the life that you really want to be living, maybe 2025 is the year that you start doing that. So let's start by exploring what matters most to you, right? What are your core values? Your core values are simply just the principles and beliefs that guide your decisions and that guide your actions. Right? So when we're living in alignment with your values, you feel fulfilled, you feel authentic, you feel like you. When you're not, you often feel stuck, you feel out of balance, you feel frustrated. If you're in with the human design stuff, right, this is when our not self theme starts to come up. So it's when we're not living out with our values. So how do you discover what your values are? A few questions to ask yourself. First, asking yourself, what's most important to me in life? What's most important? What is most important to me? And then when have I felt the happiest and most fulfilled? Right? What was I doing? Who was I with? What was the scenario? Okay. And then third, what do I want to be remembered for? Right? We're talking about legacy. And if legacy is too big of a word that makes you feel kind of, you don't have to use that word. But the fact is, whether you believe it or not, we want to be remembered for something. We want to leave something behind, whether it's with our business or career, whether it's with our family or our kids, whether it's breaking generational cycles of whatever it is, right? We want to be remembered for something. We want to leave something behind. So ask yourself those questions. Take some time to contemplate, and just giving you some ideas, maybe health, creativity, community, maybe these are some of your values. The things that you're picking for your values should be what guides your decisions and your relationships, your work, really just your habits on a daily basis, right? Those are the things that guide you. So if that helps you think, so if you're having trouble identifying exactly what your values are, just think about that. Like, what is guiding me in my decisions, in my relationships, my work, my habits. Okay. And next, reconnect with your passions. So journal on this, think about this. What lights you up, right? What do you love doing? What do you love doing, even if no one else notices, even if you never got paid for it? Like, what do you love doing? What lights you up? What brings you excitement? What brings you joy? And this is going to help you be able to identify your core values as well. So, for example, if you realize that you love helping people grow, right? That passion for helping people grow can guide whatever, personal projects or your business or what you're doing in your career, right? Maybe it's your career path or how you want to set up your business, right? That can be what guides that. So, reconnecting with your passions and really reflecting on what lights you up is going to help you be able to identify your core values. So take some time to write down your 3 to 5, maybe stop at 5, maybe 5 is enough for now. Just don't make the list too long and overwhelm yourself. 3 to 5 core values and maybe 2 to 3 passions, and keep this list visible somewhere as a reminder of what matters most and a reminder of what's guiding you, what's leading you to intentionally creating the life that you love, right? And that's what this episode's all about. So now that you've identified your values, let's talk about how to actually align them with your daily actions. Okay. So first, create a life vision statement. And we see this with, maybe businesses or corporations that have kind of like a mission statement or a vision statement. But do that for your life. Visualize your ideal life. Where are you? What are you doing? Who are you with? And then write a short statement that encapsulates all of this. And it doesn't have to be like a big long manifesto unless you want to. That's great too. But it could just be a simple sentence like, I live a life filled with meaningful work, deep connections, and vibrant health. Like that's what you want, right? That's what you want for your life, right? So think about those things and then create a little vision statement for your life. Next, evaluate your habits, like the habits you have currently. Take an inventory of your actions, your daily actions, the things that you do on a daily basis, and then think about, are they aligned with your values and with your vision? And be honest with yourself here. Now, again, we've talked about this in a couple episodes before, but we don't need to attach when we're doing work like this and contemplating things. We don't need to attach stories to it, right? We don't need to attach stories, what it means about you or whatever. Simply take inventory of your actions and then being completely objective with it. Can we look at it and see, is this aligning with my values? Is this aligning with my vision? So, for example, just giving you like a really basic example. If one of your values is health, right? I mentioned in the little like example of the vision statement a second ago, vibrant health. If one of your values is health, but your habits are recognizing that you're, skipping your workouts, you're sleeping past your alarm so you don't get up for your workout. You're not prepared with your meals throughout the day, or you're eating kind of less than healthy, making less than healthy choices on the go, right? You're going to feel out of alignment because this isn't matching up, right? Your habits and your vision, your values, this is not matching up. So think about that. It could be in your relationships, right? The other thing I mentioned in that example of the vision statement was about deep connections, right? Or maybe you have something about relationships or something in your vision statement. But if you're recognizing that you're holding on to toxic relationships, right? You're not setting boundaries like you should. You're holding on to toxic relationships. You're recognizing that your daily habits involve like people pleasing and kind of being a doormat, right? These are not aligning with your vision. So be honest with yourself. Again, look at this completely objectively and take note of that. Next, I want you to shift to intentional living. This is what I mean. Intentional keyword here. Just start small by aligning just one daily habit with your values, right? You don't have to overhaul the whole thing. But once you've made your list, I want you to start small and being intentional, just one at a time. So going back to the examples I said a second ago of the one about your health, you want to align your daily habits with the value. You want to value vibrant health. So if that's a thing that you value, then let's start matching up your habits with that. So instead of sleeping through your alarm, missing your workout, maybe you set 3 or 4 alarms, right? Or maybe you find a different time to work out, right? Whatever you need to do, readjust so that your habits are now reflecting, right? That those things are matching up. If, say, family is a core value for you, right? Then maybe it's you committing to having, setting boundaries at mealtime around devices, right? So set up your daily habits with that vision statement and your habits, right? Let's match those up, but just starting one at a time. Start small. Last year, and these kind of aligning your actions with your life vision is give yourself little weekly check-ins. And right, I've mentioned this in a couple other episodes here where we're kind of taking an energetic inventory, but doing these little check-ins are going to be helpful too when you're aligning your actions with your vision. Asking yourself, what actions this week felt aligned with my values? Like just checking in, because first we don't want to just pinpoint what I've been doing wrong, right? Let's see what's actually working. Okay, where have I successfully made the adjustments and now my actions are aligning with my values? And then where I did kind of fall off track, where can I adjust? Right? Was I taking on too much? Am I trying to change too many things at once? And then just give yourself some grace. So pick one small action this week that aligns with your vision, commit to doing it every day, and then just see how it makes you feel. Because the other thing is, too, you might think you want something. You might think something is part of this, like, life, this, the vision of your life that you want, this flank, but maybe it's not. And if you're noticing that it's making you feel weighed down, frustrated, resentful, disappointed, angry, like any of these, if it doesn't feel light and energizing to you, then there probably needs to be a shift, right? So just take note of that too. Let's shift gears here and talk about how to make this a lasting practice. So it's not just this like New Year's resolution thing, these New Year's intention things, but how can we make this a lasting practice? First and foremost, gratitude, the power of gratitude. And I know it sounds so simple and so elementary, but gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. Gratitude shifts your mindset to focus on what's actually working in your life. And there are studies now around gratitude and exactly how gratitude shifts. I mean, you can literally rewire your brain. So maybe it's something you do like at the end of the day, writing down 3 things that you're grateful for. If that helps, then start that. But really step into gratitude, whatever gratitude practice looks like for you. And it may not be writing it down. Maybe it's just something you do in your mind or something you do in prayer, meditation, whatever it is. But the power of gratitude cannot be underestimated. Second, really embrace flexibility. This is kind of what I was saying a second ago. Your life is going to change. Your life changes, your life evolves, you change, you evolve as a human, and so will your vision. So be open to adapting, right? Be flexible as you grow. Your vision doesn't have to be set in stone, it's going to evolve too. And this is how, we end up in situations where we kind of outgrow relationships or we outgrow positions at work in our career. We outgrow our current business model, right? We grow and evolve. And so your vision has to do the same. Next, celebrate your progress, but not perfection. It's about progress, not perfection. Building a life you love is a journey, and it's a constant journey. That's not a linear journey. Celebrate every little victory, every little small win along the way. And this is something I have to remind myself of constantly. I've gotten better. I have to say, in the past couple years, I've gotten better celebrating the small wins. But this is something you really have to be intentional. I remember it's all about it being intentional. So if you've committed to, 5 minutes of breath work a day, celebrate that consistency rather than focusing on whether it's quote unquote enough. Like I should be doing longer. Or if you're doing meditation, or if you're doing a workout, like you're consistently doing 15 minutes of physical activity every day. Instead of bringing in the story like crap, I really need to be getting in, that 45 minutes to an hour. Celebrate the fact that you've been consistent with 15 minutes of movement every day and call it a win and then move on. And you can grow your goals from there. And then last year, for really making this a long lasting practice, is surrounding yourself with support, surrounding yourself with the right support. So sharing your vision with people who uplift you and encourage you. And a little caveat that I want to say for this is be mindful of who you share your goals with. And I can't remember who said it. It was oh man, it was a thought leader years ago. I want to say it was from like the 50s or 60s. I don't think it was Neville Goddard, but I feel like it was in the same generation. But anyway, basically they were saying like be careful who you share your goals and your vision with, right? And I want to encourage you to be careful who you share your goals and your vision with. If you feel like you don't have anyone in your life to be able to share your goals and your vision with, who are going to celebrate with you and hold the vision with you, then don't share it. That would be my advice for that. Because what happens sometimes we get excited, and I've done this before many times, and then now it's something where like my goals are big goals. Now, little goals is different, but like big goals is typically something I keep to myself, and I keep it in like, my journaling or whatever. But we start to share our goals and our visions with people, but then people start to project their stuff on your stuff, right? Even though they mean well, they have the best intentions, and they're typically doing it out of love. It can kind of like it just kind of they kind of burst your bubble, right? And I find that it's easier, and not easier, it's more supportive for your energy and your capacity to hold your vision if you don't have anyone to share it who's not going to either play devil's advocate or place their projections or limitations or what they think is possible on your vision, then don't share it. It gets to stay between you, or you and God, or you and whoever you're talking, your angels, or whoever you're talking to it about like that. You don't have to share your vision. So surrounding yourself with support for me can mean a couple of things. It could mean yes, sharing your vision with people if you have people in your life who can uplift you and encourage you, and maybe even keep you accountable, right? If it's somebody who's going to keep you accountable with your daily habits, then by all means. Or it could just be like finding a community of people, a group of people that share similar goals. So you don't necessarily have to share all of your goals and visions with these people, but finding a group, whether it's a mastermind, a mentor, a book club, something like that, where it's people who they share similar values as you. Maybe they even have similar goals, but you don't necessarily have to share all of your goals and your big vision, but you're able to hold on to your big vision, but you're around people who are also working towards their big vision. I hope that makes sense. So choose a long term goal that aligns with your values, and then break it down into little small, actionable steps, and then set a realistic timeline for progress. Be mindful of who you share this with, and then stick to it. Just commit to it. Look, creating the life that you love requires intention, but it's not about perfection. It's about alignment. So by identifying your values, aligning your actions with your values, and then staying intentional, this is how you can design a life that really feels deeply fulfilling and purposeful in 2025 and beyond, right? Because it's not just about 1 year. It's about setting yourself up for forever. And so I hope this is helpful with you being able to really tune into what you want for your life. This is about you. This is about intentional living. This is about your own personal growth. This is about your own life vision, and taking this and putting it into action, and not just having it as a dream and a maybe one day and oh, it's nice for other people, but not me. But no, like taking a responsibility, taking ownership, taking your power, and being intentional about creating this life that you want, this life that feels fulfilling and purposeful, that aligns with your values, right? That's when we get the most out of life, is when we can align how we're creating our life with what we value the most. So I hope this series has also been helpful for you, that you're able to take a lot of these actionable, tangible things with you and put them into action for 2025, and really create this vision for yourself, and setting up healthy habits, and setting yourself up with goals that really excite you, and that bring you joy, and make you excited for the expansiveness that's available to you when you're really committed to your continued growth and evolution. And I would love to hear your takeaways, especially as you're working through all of these little journal prompts I've given you. Remember to go in the show notes. You can get that holistic detox and start working through that as well. Tag me on Instagram at the Hope Pedraza. Post it in your stories. Send me a private message if you want to do that. Shoot me an email. But I want to hear where you are, what you're working on, what you're working through. Of course, if you ever need support throughout the journey, you can reach out to me and we can talk about what that looks like. But share with me what you're working through, and I'd love to see what 2025 is going to look like for you. So share with me. I'd love to hear from you. And I'm wishing you all the best holiday season. Happy, healthy, abundant, and joyful new year 2025. And I'll see y'all next time.
Thanks for listening to Hopeful and Wholesome, y'all. If you found value in this week's episode, please subscribe on iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcast and leave a review to let me know what you thought. I'd love to know what you find useful in these episodes so I can know how to provide the most value I can to my listeners. And if you have topics you'd like to know more about, I'd love to hear those as well. So shoot me a message on Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn. It's at TheHopePedraza, or you can visit my website, hopefulandwholesome.com. Thanks, y'all.